Today we're going to talk about Vietnam and protest songs that came out of it and how it affected the culture of America. The reason fighting broke out in Vietnam was America wanted to contain communism. They didn't want China to come over and influence Vietnam and turn it into a communist country. By the late 60s, people were starting to get frustrated with Vietnam and how things were going. President Lyndon B. Johnson was sending more troops over there. And people weren't happy with that. They didn't see the point in us fighting in Vietnam, and they just wanted the war to stop. By the late, in the 60s, when people got displeased with how things were going, they protested. That became what the social norm was. In the early 60s, there was civil rights. Then when the later 60s came, the counterculture took over, and they started protesting the war in Vietnam. One thing that really gave the counterculture their power was so many pop culture icons, different artists, musicians writing songs that really influenced them and gave them a voice to the world. And what we're about to do here, I'm going to play a song. It's Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival from 1969. And what we're going to do, we're just going to discuss how this might have influenced what they thought about the war and just the general idea about what the counterculture was going through. So what was the general idea of that song?
Kind of a rejection of the way that the more fortunate people in society get to avoid things and work their way around things.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I'd say, for example, some folks are born silver spoon in hand, applying wealth. When the taxman comes to the door, the house looks like a rummage sale. And the line, "I ain't no senator's son, and I ain't no fortunate one," makes me think of the way that if you had friends or family in high places around the time that the draft was going on for Vietnam, you're most likely going to be able to avoid it.
Exactly. That's pretty much the entire thing behind the song, is how the rich people, senators' sons, people like that, they didn't have to worry about getting drafted. Everyone else, it was them fighting the war for these other people. And that was one of the main reasons why people were so frustrated with the war and the draft and everything like that. They didn't see why they would have, just because they weren't rich or high in politics, why they would have to go fight when it's the people higher up that wanted to do the fighting.
Right on.